Hi friends, welcome back to the Guitar Spa where we bring you all the beautiful guitars reviewed just for you. And today I just want to ask you, uh, this is a question that many ask me, right? Why many people buy the GS Mini? Why many people would pick the GS Mini, the Taylor GS Mini, over any other guitars, or maybe like the right now we have this Fudge Pioneer EM also here, right? Why not pick this? But it's relatively new. But let's focus on the GS Mini. This is a GS Mini Core Plus, right? Why it's not really cheap guitar to start off with. Not even an entry level guitar anymore, unless you buy the normal GS Mini without any pickup. This the core GS Mini Plus, in fact, is not it's inexpensive. You get actually, this is basically a core top with special sunburst. There's no binding. Maybe the top binding here. There's no binding on the back, and back and sides are also core, but it's laminated, right? Or they call it layered. That means two layers, still laminated, and you have the bridge that is, I would say, look at this bridge, right? The bridge is actually they call it wild ebony that would not have been used many years ago. People will accept only full black colored ebony. But right now, it seems like people are beginning to accept different streaks of different colors, like a little bit of blonde on their fretboard, because of wood is getting scarce. So we're just using whatever wood, right? But the thing is, it's not going to affect the tone. So what does this GS Mini? How does this GS Mini? Why is it so popular? Firstly, this is a small size. Let me just get my short scale 23.5. 1116 on this, so it's very easy on the hands, especially beginners. 1116 also for beginners, it's easy if you're a strummer and things like that. And also the lower board is about let me see, 14 and a half inches here, and just 3.25 and just below 4 inches, right? So you can actually just sit in well on this guitar. And the thing about this is it's the way it's looked, right? The way it has a beautiful curve as compared to a dreadnought, and a larger sound hole than, let's say, look at this. This is a smaller sound hole, the Fudge Pioneer, and also pretty light, and it's made in these are all made in Mexico, right? Previously it was made in, and you get the X brace, forward shift, and one tone bar. Okay, something to note about these guitars: they are really popular. They relatively sound really well. Comes with a plastic saddle, plastic pins, and plastic nut and die cast tuners. The tuners are relatively good. And I've upgraded this saddle to the fossilized mammoth ivory, and also ditched the plastic pins, which are tone robbers, to fit in dyed bone pins to give a little bit more of that sound. I've also lowered the medium gauge to light gauge 1253. Obviously you lose a little bit of depth, but because it's a short scale, you still got the warmness. The reason why I'm doing this in terms of lowering the saddle, because this guitar has one X brace and only a very very thin tone bar. Normally you have two tone bars here, but there's only one. So the top, if you're in Singapore, because the original saddle is not arched correctly, the top with humidity, within the first month you buy this GS Mini, if you don't have a new humidifier or dry box, the top will swell, and the action will go off whack. And this one had about 2 years, and this one had bridge lifting. And many GS Mini, I don't know how many have came into my house, all of them have some form of bridge lift here. Some after 2 years, the whole bridge, at least half, needs to be heated and removed and repaired. So it's really relatively expensive, because it'll cost you about 30-40% of the price of the GS Mini to repair it, right? And the thing about this is, when you buy a new GS Mini, get somebody to set it up properly, radius the top, saddle, and also make sure that the action is low so that you don't have that stress over this, because this can be permanent once it's bent. Once the top is like both loaded up bent, then it may be permanent, right? So I can still rectify this if it's just within a few years and stuff like that. Okay, so the thing about this guitar is it's a fun loving guitar to play. It's I just give you one strum. So it's still relatively loud compared to, let's say, a dreadnought. I have a dreadnought here, and then even though it's an Indian rosewood, but let me just strum a little bit here for you. So this how loud the dreadnought is as compared to this GS Mini. GS Mini. No, it's not staying away. And then you have a small guitar here that is below about 13 inches. This is the Fudge Pioneer. One thing is, many youths or people that are young at heart even like this, because why people buy this? Because it's easy to replace, right? It's laminated back and sides. If you buy the one where the thicker screws has different tone, you can fit any pickup you want, as compared to the ES system, which is a little bit more mid-range, a little bit more difficult to EQ, and you need to even get the guitar tech to maybe adjust the three screws here correctly, which I've done. Okay, so let's listen to how it sounds acoustically, because it's a great guitar. I've already set this up right nicely so it sounds clear. Get this is basically a core top. Core tops are slightly harder, so you get a little bit of different tone as compared to a thicker screws. A bit more snappy, a bit more mid-rangey, and organic, right? Whoa, sound. Let's listen to how it sounds, Capo, because it's a lot. I see a lot of people use this as a game guitar, and I can simply understand because, firstly, inexpensive. Two, I like the shape. The Taylor is a little bit more modern looking. Aesthetically, it's a beautiful sounding guitar. Beautiful looking guitar, and you know when you are performing, it's all about showmanship, right? It's all about role playing and ensuring that your audience is engaged, right? So Woo, 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 woo. I do have a GS Mini Koa also myself, so I know how it feels. Okay, something to note about this GS Mini is many a times I feel that people buy it because of the branding. I mean, seriously, among all the ones that did the marketing, Taylor has the best marketing, and I do appreciate and I do admire them from afar. And also at the same time, I think the younger generations are mostly a sight and sound generation, right? Maybe more sight than sound, right? So they want something that is modern, that is updated when they go to stage. That hey, they don't want to look like a traditional. They don't want something that look like what their grandpa played, like Elvis Presley played and things like that. And they always start with a GS Mini. And one thing to know something about GS Mini is the improvement a year, 2 years, 5 years is not very significant as compared to some of the traditional brands like Martin, where you buy a Dreadnought Junior. After a year, it sounds different. After 2 years, 3 years, it sounds a little bit different, right? Don't ask me why. It could be maybe the finisher. These are all UV finish, right? Satin finish, but extremely thick on this guitar. And Taylors are basically braced to be a little bit more brighter, and you have the slightly more, how would I say, brighter, modern kind of tone, right? Bright, as you can hear. And something, so one of the risks, basically, I think even people in USA is discovering that the because of one tone bar, the tops, especially if you're in high humidity levels, and if the guitar is not set up correctly, the tops will swell a little bit more than the normal guitars that has two tone bars. That's one. Two is because of the swelling, the bridge, especially two wings, will start to lift, and these are all expensive to repair, especially in Singapore, because it's not just gluing back, not just removing this and gluing back. It's one thing is you dry the guitar, you because the saddle is extremely high. That's the cause, that the root cause of the top being swelling. So you got to firstly dry the guitar to bring it back to the relative humidity, 50, 55, 60. 55 will be great. and then set up the whole guitar, straighten the neck, because in a lot of times the neck will be this way. I've seen so many the necks are all like that, off whack. And then the saddle is probably, you need to drop it off. You need to balance the trebles and the bass, which is not done correctly because of the top is very, very sensitive. That's why it sounds great. So if you are in Singapore and in Asia, I will suggest you get this, get somebody to look after your guitar. You just a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even the fourth week, and get it set up. Okay, and then 6 months they just have another checkup. Right, it's good, like just like your body. Right, you need to check up. You do some adjustments, and then you check it up, and make sure that you optimize it. Right. Okay, so there you have it. Why people buy the GS Mini? Why the GS Mini is so popular? I've given you a short scale. It's lovely aesthetics, relatively good tone, as you can hear with all the upgrades that I've done on this guitar. Even though this is right now with light gauge strings, it sounds magnificent, right, loud, as I played a dreadnought, and also this French Pioneer EM smaller size guitar, and which is fairly comparable, right? So till the next review, because I live with passion, play guitar, love, joy, peace, health, and wealth to be multiplied in life. I'll see you very soon. This is Jarvis signing off. Bye bye.